So I find when we are working on our back bending, it highlights the parts of our body to us that are a little bit more inflexible. Generally speaking, it tends to be for people, their shoulders and their upper back. So one of the reasons for that is just how we live our lives. So on our laptops, computers, on our phones, just constantly kind of being like this, like even the way we sit kind of being like this. So what tends to happen is we tend to get really tight through the chest. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through a few shoulder opening exercises. We're going to start with some myofascial rolling, and then we're going to go into some specific warm-up. And then we'll go into the stretches themselves and then cool down. Before I started though, I just wanted to give you a little bit of background information that's just going to help you inform your stretches and how hard you go along the way. So the shoulder joint is called I hope I say this right, it's like a glenohumeral joint. So basically what that means is a ball and a socket joint. So because it's a ball and a socket joint, it is a little bit more prone to dislocations. So it's really important that when we're stretching our shoulders, we're strengthening it at the same time. So a lot of the things I'm taking you through today are going to be strengthening as well as increasing flexibility. The myofascial stuff, so if you've never heard that term before, basically fascia is the stuff that goes around the outside of the muscle. So when we're stretching, yes, we're stretching the muscles, but we're also stretching what's called the fascia. So if you imagine, I've actually made a little this. I could only find feijoas and Glad wrap. So I want you to imagine that the feijoas are your muscles, and the Glad wrap on the outside is this myofascial stuff that I keep talking about. So this stuff, what the Glad wrap's made out of, is water. So you'll find the more hydrated you are, the more this can slide over the muscle. So it kind of slides like this. If you're really dehydrated or you haven't been moving that way in a long time, or you stay stuck here, what can happen is it can kind of get stuck to the muscle. So then when we try and move it, we try and glide it, it gets stuck. And that's sometimes where our inflexibility comes from, because it's actually stuck. So stretching can help that, and sometimes it's why one of the reasons why stretching can feel so painful is because we're literally ripping it off. Another way we can help loosen that up is by gently massaging it. So I want you to think about if you think about a muscle, I'm just going to go like this. So you'll notice it has muscle, so it's quite thin over here, and then as it gets closer to the joint, it's a lot thicker and a lot denser, okay? And that is basically just to hold us together, which is really, really important. So sometimes you'll feel more of a stretch closer to your joints, and that's completely normal. The other thing that I want to explain to you is that it's all connected. So if we pull one side like this, it's going to affect all the way down here as well. So sometimes you'll be doing a stretch, you might be doing a stretch for your shoulder on the wall, and maybe you can feel it in your hand or in your forearm. It's because everything's all interconnected. In fact, it's all interconnected all throughout your body. So I'll be taking you through some ways to release specifically around the chest area and the upper back. So we'll do that now. Tools to help you. I kind of thinking about it as trainer wheels. So one of these is really, really great. It's great for leaning on, but it's also great for just rolling out. They're $5 from Kmart. I'm pretty sure Kmart are delivering at the moment. So these are a really, really good investment. One of these, this is actually a hockey ball. You can get specific myofascial release balls from the physio, and they're really great, but I find the hockey balls are the right hardness for me. If it's too tough, you can also use a tennis ball. So one of these. TheraBand is always really good, or if you don't have a TheraBand, you can use a tea towel or something, or a t-shirt. And for me as well, I like to use this ankle weight that I tie onto my wrist. I wouldn't suggest that unless you're super duper 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 tight. And I mean like when you lift your arm, you can't get it above here. And that has helped me a lot using that. But not many people are in that kind of range. So we're going to start off with the big roller. So what I'm going to do, and make sure you can see me, I'm just going to turn this down a little bit. I'm sorry, I know I've talked a lot for ages, but that's okay. We're just going to roll our upper back. So I'll get this guy coming down, popping it on our mid back or upper back. And I find if you pop your hands behind your head, hopefully you can see, and just roll up and down. So I do this for about maybe 3 minutes, and I just find it kind of loosens everything up. So after I've done this for around 3 minutes, I'm then going to move onto the side as well, and then move up into my neck. So I'm going to come onto my side like this. I'm going to pop it just underneath, so I'm not on my boob. I'm just kind of more on, like, more leaning back, so my nipples are facing up to the sky. And then from here, it's a little bit awkward, but you're just gently going to roll over this part. And you just do that until you kind of feel like, oh yeah. What you can do as well is stop where it feels like, kind of like old rope, and you can move your arm around, and that will help release it as well. So I do that. Then I come up into the neck space. So just popping it underneath my head. You can do this with a yoga block as well. And from here, I just move side to side. And you can kind of feel like these like little nodes on the back of your neck, just underneath your head. And I rest it on one side, and then I'll move slightly up and down. And then come to the other side, move slightly up and down. So I'll just keep doing that as it feels good. Because if you think about it, the fascia also goes all the way up to your skull as well. So those ones. After I've done that, I'm going to move into a little bit more of a specific region. So using my tennis ball or my lacrosse ball, or sometimes you can have those like double balls, I'm going to position the ball on the side of my spine. So I'm going to start in the lower, and then I'm going to move it into the mid, and then I'm going to move it into the upper. For each one, I'm going to do 10 of these. So I'll just show you what it looks like, but you'll be able to do them in your own time. So when I come down, I'm just going to pop it on the side of my spine, relaxing my neck. You can put like a cushion or something under there if you like. My thumb is going to be pointing up. On my inhale, I'm going to come all the way up. I'm going to go as far as I can without popping my ribs out, and then come all the way down. So that's 1. Oh, so tight over the stages. 2. And we're thinking about trying to get our thumb to touch the ground. So each time, I'm thinking about going a little bit further. And I got the ground that time, so that was good. Making sure our abs are still turned on with this one. So, after I've done 10 there, if I feel like it, I can pop my hand up to the sky and do little circles. Sometimes that gets into that spot. Then from there, I'm going to shuffle forward, and I'm going to find a new spot on my back. So I want you to shuffle around until you find a spot that you're like, ooh, it does not feel good, okay? If staying here is enough for you, just breathe into it. Taking 10 breaths is a really good way. Otherwise, doing that same exercise again, going around, and then moving up into the next bit, same exercise, moving around, and then moving on to the other side of your spine. So it's a really good one you can do while like watching Netflix or watching TV. I quite like doing it without it because I close my eyes and really feel into my body. After that, you should feel like a little bit more mobility. The next one, so we've focused on the back here. We're actually going to focus along our chest. So the easiest way to do this, if I set you up over here, this is the most random video. I hope this makes sense. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm gonna pop it just here so you can, I'll pop it to the side so you can see what's going on here. There we go. So I've got like a doorway, and basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna position the ball along my chest somewhere, and I'm gonna lean into the wall. So as I've leaned into the wall, then I'm just gonna like roll over, roll over, roll over. You can also do this on the ground, but I find it a little bit trickier on the ground. So just keep rolling around until you find a spot that feels a little bit like, oh, that's tight. And there's a few ways you can release it. You can breathe into it, or you can move your hand like out and in as well. That's always a really good one. The other thing that you kind of can do is really get like in this part. So popping in here and then really rolling it in here. Another nice one that you can do is down your sternum. So taking the same thing, rolling down. Sometimes you'll feel really tight in here, especially if you've done like a lot of ab work and stuff. So after that, you should feel even more open through the chest. So before we've even done any stretching, we've kind of given ourselves a really good head start by letting that myofascia release. After that, I like to do an underarm massage. So I tried to show this in in one of my classes, but there was a cockroach on the lamp and I got freaked out, so I stopped. But I'll show you in more detail now. Excuse my armpits, it is COVID-19. So the way that I like to do this one is I'm just gonna pop my index finger or my two fingers underneath my armpit, and then I'm gonna bring my hand slightly across, so just in my midline here. And then from there, I'm gonna have a little feel around, and you might feel a part that feels a little bit like kind of not stringy, but like a little bit harder than the other parts. And you're just gonna give it a little massage around. It's really important that you're really gentle underneath your armpit. There's like lymph nodes and there's a lot of nerves under there. So if you massage it too hard, you're gonna be very, very sore the next day. So that's the first one. I might move up a little bit, do the same, find around there. Another one that I like to do is I'm gonna grab this muscle here. So I think it's like part of your lat. So basically I get my thumb, pop it in, my hand comes around here, and then when I pop my arm down, I can kind of grab it. So I've got a really good grab, there. And then I can just use my hand to massage that part. In pole dancing, we use a lot of lats, especially like if you've been a swimmer or something in the past, they will get quite tight, and sometimes they can feel really, really tight. So that is all of our myofascial stuff. You can actually spend as long as you like there. No more than 2 minutes on each spot though. Once you go past 2 minutes, you're kind of doing more damage than good. So no more than 2 minutes on each spot. Okay, we're gonna go through our warm-up exercises for our shoulders now. It's so important that they're super, super warm before we go ahead and challenge their flexibility. So the ones that you'll probably already know, I'll just make sure that you can see me down here. Hang on a second. Okay, this is very unprofessional. So the normal ones, coming into this position and doing our angry cat and our sexy cat, and doing about 10 reps of those. After we've done 10 reps of those, I like to do 5 this way, da, 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 and then 5 the other way. As you can see, I'm not showing you all 5, but that's okay. Now we're going to warm up our shoulders a little bit more. So you can start here, you can stay here in this position, and what you want to do is push away with your hands on the ground, And then by keeping our arms straight, we're just going to sink our shoulders. So pushing away, sinking our shoulders. You'll notice that my hips stay in exactly the same place. So I do that 10 times. Then I'm going to roll my shoulders up to my ears, and then they're going to go down my back. So I'm rolling, rolling, rolling. I'll show you from the front what it looks like from the front as well. So I'm rolling my shoulders down and back, and then I roll them the other way. So I do 10 each way. If you're not feeling like your shoulders are getting warm enough here, you can always take it into more of like a press-up position. Or if that's not enough for you, you can always take it into a big plank position and do exactly the same exercise that way. And I promise you will start to get a lot warmer in your shoulder capsules. So after we've done those, if I'm just focusing on my shoulders, I'm giving you as many tools as I can kind of think of. You don't have to do all of them, but if you did do all of them every day, oh my gosh, you just get so good. So this one, we do this one in class, yeah? It's a really good one. So it's sets of 20, keeping our elbows in and making sure that our wrist is at the same level as our elbow. So pulling them apart and then coming back. I never let the tension go all the way. I've always got tension on my band. So when I pull away, it's not like, oh, I'm letting it go. It's like tension, 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 tension. And then when I hold it out, still more tension, you'll notice my elbows are still nice and close to my body. So that's a really great one. I normally do 3 sets of 20, and for the last set, I hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, which you would have done in my warm-ups before. Then I do my broomstick overheads. So I have like this piece of wood that I use to put my baby's toys on, but you can use like a broom or like a vacuum cleaner or something. So in this one, I start with my hands out nice and wide, and from here I'm going to take a big inhale. Exhale, it's going to come all the way up, and then I'm going to see if I can get it behind me, which I can't today because it's not long enough and I haven't warmed up properly. But basically, if you can imagine, we're trying to bring it all the way behind us so it ends up like this, and then the same back over the top. I do 10 reps of those. The reason why I like to use this one when I'm nice and warm is because I've got a little marking on the edge where I know like if I'm getting better. If you don't have one of those, again, you can totally use your TheraBand, exactly the same thing, okay? So there's that guy. Then we've got our muscle mans. So I do 10 of these as well. So basically we start 90 degree. I'm not like chilling out like here, everything's nice and light. And we come up with control. Keeping my elbows in the same place, I come back down. Up with control, back down. So here I'm thinking about getting going as far back as I can, and then squeezing my shoulder blades together to support my shoulder girdle. So 10 of those. After I've done 10 of those, I do them the other way, for here. You can use weights if you like. I'm fine without weights. You'll notice as you get more tired, like you start to come down here like this. So try and do this in front of the mirror so your elbows stay in line with your shoulder. So 10, and then 10, and then 10, 9, all the way. This is not really a follow along video. It's more of a like demo one. Cool. So after we've done that, we're gonna go our thumbs up T rotations. So they look like coming from a flat back. You can soften your knees slightly if you want to as well. But basically my thumbs are going to be up to the sky, and I'm going to have nice straight arms here, and then I'm going to squeeze my shoulder blades so my arms come up and back down. So we're like this. So I do 10 of those, thinking about rotating my thumbs out as much as I possibly can. Then I do my back on the wall for this thing. I'll show you what it looks like if you come on over with me. I bet you won't. expecting this video. You're going to see the length of this and be like, yeah, I'm not going to watch that. Okay, so this guy, you can see me. What we want to try and do here is we're trying to get our forearm and our lower back on the wall behind us. If you can have your feet into the wall as well, that's really good. But if your heels are flush against the wall and you've got a gap in between your lower back, then I want you to push your feet out a little bit and tuck under until there's no gap. So I can't put my hand through anymore. So then I'm going to come to here and I'm aiming to get my wrists on the wall, and I'm going all the way up and all the way back down. All the way up and all the way back down. All the way up and all the way back down. So yours will look 10 times better than mine because you'll actually be flush against the wall. Mine are not. So that's a really good strengthening and mobility one. We do 10 of those as well. It's easy. If you're not sure, just do 10 reps. So that's all our warm-up done. The next one is our specific shoulder stretches. So the first one is your bat wing. So you can have your hand on your hip, or you can pop your hand behind you. I do my hand on my hip just because that's the level of flexibility I'm at the moment. I'm going to bring my other arm around and I'm going to pull this arm forward. If you're not feeling any stretch here, try it with your arm behind and then hopefully you should feel that. You can either hold it for 30 seconds, or something I like to do as well is you just like move in and out of it and then hold for that 30 seconds at the end, making sure our shoulders are away from our ears. The next one is our wall stretch. So the one that we do with the nerve one that we do just every time, I think. So it's this guy. Sorry. Again, the most unprofessional video you've ever seen in your life. Oh my god. Oh, you're gonna be like, Sarah, I already know the nerve stretch. So it's this one. So pushing our hand against the wall, making sure that our hand is in line with our shoulder, inhaling forward, exhaling open as far as we can, hold for 3, 2, 1, and release. Same again, inhale forward, exhale open, and then do it again. And then when we're pulsing at the end, I want you to think about squeezing your shoulder blades together. So it's coming from your shoulder blades, not like this, yeah? Shoulder blades together. So you go ahead and do that on both sides. That's a nerve stretch, so it's really important that you don't hold that one for too long. About 5 seconds or 3 breaths is about the right amount of time for that one. Then we go ahead and we do our puppy pose. So again, you would have done that one with me before. I'm going to talk you through it a little bit more in depth though. So there's 2 shoulder positions. There's your open shoulder position where your hands are flat like this, or there's your closed shoulder position. Your closed shoulder position, so if you think about closing off your armpit, is a lot more healthy and a lot more stable for your shoulder girdle and for your joints. So I'm not saying you won't you won't get an injury if you definitely do this one, but it's less likely. So I always stretch that way. So when we're coming into our blocks, or we're using one of these or whatever, I'm making sure that my palms are super here. So this is a little bit different to the one that I teach in the classes, just because I find people's shoulder mobility is pretty good, but this one really helps if your shoulders are particularly tight. So what I do is I actually start up in this tabletop position. Then from here I take a big inhale, and on my exhale, I actually roll down like this. And then I squeeze, I push down to inhale up, and exhale back. Inhale up, exhale back. Inhale up, exhale back. And then I hold here. So that just gives me a little bit more deepening through here. Then from here, I actually always look forward. Always looking forward, just because I want to help the upper back bend as well. So from here, I lengthen on my inhale, and I sink on my exhale. So I do that for a minute. After I've done that, I move side to side. I do that 10 times, and then I go 10 circular, so like this. Whee! 10 circular, and 10 the other way. I didn't do 10, but you get the gist. And then I hold here for 3 breaths, as low as I can go, roll out of it, and then I do that entire thing again. So that is a little bit more of an intense version of that puppy stretch, but you'll find that you can get a lot deeper into your shoulder stretching there. The next one I do, I actually use my a table or like a chair or a couch for this one. It's a prayer pose, so it's slightly a little bit different than the puppy pose. So basically what I'm doing here, you can put like a cushion or something underneath there. I get my elbows on and like prayer pose like this. So I'm like this, I walk away and push down here. For ages I didn't feel a stretch here, but the longer you hold it, the better, the more you'll get there. So if you want a little bit more extra pressure, you can soften your knees to really press down here. Having lots of pressure through your hands really helps as well. I like to hold that one for about 3 minutes. It gives my shoulders a chance to really like push through. The next one is I just call it the grab behind. I don't know what, I'm sure it has like a cool name. So you know how like super flexible people, they can go like this and they can grab like their hands? Like awesome, that's really cool. Not my story at the moment. So I like to use one of these or a towel or a tea towel. So basically what I do is I grab this guy and I walk, can you see that? Yes. And I walk my hands as close as I can and breathe, 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 breathe when I've got to my max. And then I have a rest, do it on the other side, and then I do it all again to see if I can get a little bit closer. Using a tea towel instead of one of these is actually better because you can see where you got to. So there's that one. The other one is pushing my shoulders through. So I use like a doorway for this one. If you've got a pole, if you're lucky enough to have a pole at home, you can use a pole. I use a pole when I'm at the studio, which I can't go to at the moment. Oh no, I'm just trying to move the washing. See, professional as shit. Here we go. So what we want to do here is I'm going to grab the doorway behind me, making sure that my elbows are facing forward. I'm going to soften my knees. I can put one foot in front of the other, kind of helps me sometimes. And then from here, what I want to think about doing is pushing behind me so my chest comes through my shoulders. So it's not so much of a back bend, but it's really just pushing through here. I'm pushing up. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to slowly take one hand off, and that's going to help me just to pull me forward so I get a little bit of an extra stretch. Hold here for about 10 breaths. Then I'm inhaling, coming to the other side from here. Making sure our elbows are always facing in. Inhaling, and then pushing away for the last 10. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Cool. Coming up. Oh, fuck. I don't know how much of you got from that. Hopefully you got the idea. So there's that one. And then the last one, or the last two that I like to do. So this one is for your chest. So basically, you're just gonna have to excuse my boobs, breastfeeding boobs. So I'm gonna come to here. So I'm not back here, I'm like in line. So I'm in line, I'm gonna take an inhale, exhale, shoulders come out to the side. Then from here, I'm gonna drop my shoulder. Come back to the center, inhale, exhale, drop my shoulder. Inhale to the center, exhale, drop my shoulder. Inhale to the center, exhale, drop my shoulder. So I do that a few times, and then I like to hold it, maybe for like 30 seconds, and if you've got a tight chest, you'll really feel that one along there. The last exercise that I do, if you're advanced, you can do this one sitting, but I will do it standing. I'm gonna put this over here. So I'm gonna show you a very terrible demonstration of this, but you will get the idea. So what we're gonna do is be standing about like a meter away from the wall. I'm gonna take my hand and I'm gonna inhale it so it's touching the wall behind me, okay? The lower you go, the harder this is. So try and aim for up first. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come around with the other hand. So I'm windmilling it in. So inhale, windmill. Then I'm going to aim to put this hand also here and then back off. And same again. Here, up, and back off. I do that 10 times. And you'll find that every time you do it, you'll get a little bit better at it. And that's really all of the shoulder stretches that I do. To warm down, I do the token, this guy, the token, this guy, making sure that my ribs are in. But I hope that gives you at least like a few ideas of what to do. If you have any like questions or anything, my God, just message me and I can break something down a little bit more for you. Sorry, this is a really long video. It wasn't supposed to be this long. But I will send you the document as well. I'll write it all down for you so you can be like, oh yeah, Batwing, what the hell is that? And hopefully you'll be able to decipher it all. But thank you so much for reaching out. I so appreciate it. I hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful day. Mwah! Hopefully I get to meet you in person one day. That would be cool. But you never know. Okay, bye.